Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Islam Unveiled. On this channel, we explore the wisdom of Islam through authentic sources, clear explanations, and reflections that connect faith to our everyday struggles. Today, we're talking about a question many Muslims have asked in silence. What happens when you've been making dua for so long that you start wondering if Allah is even listening? If you've ever felt that way, stay with me until the end. Let's begin. Let me tell you about the worst night of Ibrahim's life. Not the night he got rejected from another job. Not the night his savings ran out. The worst night was quieter than that. It was a Tuesday. Around 2 a.m., he was sitting on his prayer mat, the same prayer mat he'd been sitting on for 2 years, and he raised his hands to make dua. That's what Muslims call personal prayer, a direct conversation with God, no middleman, just you and him. And Ibrahim opened his mouth, and nothing came out. Not because he forgot what to say. He'd said the same things 1,000 times. He knew the words by heart. He just couldn't bring himself to say them again. Because somewhere deep inside, a thought had taken root. A thought he was ashamed of. A thought he would never say out loud to anyone. What's the point? He sat there on that mat, hands half raised, eyes dry, and for the first time in 2 years, he didn't make dua. He just sat there in the silence. And then he lay down, stared at the ceiling, and asked the question that millions of Muslims ask, but almost nobody talks about. Is anyone actually listening? I want to talk to you today about that question. Not the polished, comfortable version of it, the real version. The one that shows up at 2 a.m. when you're exhausted and your hope is running out, and you've been praying for something for so long that the prayer itself has started to feel hollow. Because if you've never felt that, genuinely, I'm happy for you. But if you have, if you've ever sat in the dark and wondered whether your duas are just words disappearing into empty air, then this is for you. And I'm going to make you a promise right now. By the time we're done today, you are not going to just feel better about dua. You're going to understand it differently, fundamentally differently, in a way that changes how you pray, how you wait, and how you read your own life. So stay with me. This is going to take some time, but it's worth it. First, I need to tell you more about Ibrahim, because his story doesn't start on that Tuesday night. It starts 2 years earlier. Ibrahim was 27. He just finished his master's degree. He was smart, he was motivated, he genuinely wanted to do something good with his life. Not just earn money, but build something meaningful. He started applying for jobs. First month, nothing. That's normal. Third month, still nothing. Okay, that's harder, but manageable. 6 months in, he'd had a few interviews, all rejections. He started quietly panicking. But here's the thing about Ibrahim that you need to understand. He wasn't passive about this. He wasn't sitting at home making dua and waiting for a job to fall from the sky. He was applying every single day. 50, 60, 70 applications. He was taking courses to build new skills. He was reaching out to people in his field. He was doing everything right. And every night, every single night, after the Isha prayer, which is the night prayer Muslims do before they sleep, he would sit on that mat and pour his heart out to Allah. He wasn't casual about it. He wasn't rattling off a list like a shopping order. He was genuinely speaking, genuinely asking, genuinely believing, at least in the beginning, that this was real. Ya Allah, you know how hard I'm working. You know how much I need this. Please open a door. He'd read somewhere that the best time to make dua is in the last third of the night, when things are quiet and the world is asleep. So he started setting alarms. 3 a.m., getting up in the cold, washing his face, sitting down, talking to Allah in the dark. He was doing everything right. And month after month, nothing changed. Now here's where it gets complicated. And this is something I really want you to think about carefully. When nothing happens for long enough, your brain doesn't just feel sad. Your brain starts building a case. It starts collecting evidence. Rejection email, evidence. Another month gone, evidence. Friend gets a job without even trying that hard, evidence. You, who prayed every night, still struggling, evidence. And the case your brain builds, unconsciously, quietly, piece by piece, goes something like this. Either dua doesn't work, or my dua specifically doesn't work. Either Allah isn't listening, or Allah is listening but doesn't care about me. Now, none of Ibrahim's friends knew this was happening. On the outside, he looked fine. He prayed. He fasted during Ramadan. He said the right things when people asked how he was doing. Alhamdulillah. That's an Arabic phrase meaning thank God, used to express gratitude. Things are hard, but I trust Allah. He said those words. He just didn't feel them anymore. And that gap between what you say and what you actually feel, that is one of the loneliest places a person can live. Because you can't explain it to most people. They'll just tell you to have more faith, or remind you of some story about patience. And they mean well, but it doesn't touch the real thing. The real thing is a wound, deep, quiet, private. The feeling that you reached out, really reached out, with everything you had, and felt nothing reach back. I want to pause here and just say something directly. If that's where you are right now, I see you. That experience is real. That pain is real. You are not weak for feeling it. You are not a bad Muslim for feeling it. You are a human being in pain, doing the hardest thing there is, trying to hold on to faith when the evidence seems to be going the other way. That takes courage, not the loud kind, the quiet, daily kind. And I want you to keep reading, because what comes next isn't a lecture, it's a reframe. And once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Before we continue, if you're benefiting from these reflections and want more content that helps strengthen your faith and clear common misconceptions about Islam, consider subscribing to Islam Unveiled and turning on notifications. Now let's continue. Here's the core problem with the way most of us think about dua. And I say most of us because I've been there too. This isn't me standing above you looking down. This is me telling you about a trap I've fallen into myself. We think of dua like a vending machine. You know how a vending machine works. You put in the money, you press the button, you wait. The thing drops. Done. That's the mental model most of us have, even if we'd never say it out loud. We make dua. We specify what we want. We wait for it to drop. And when it doesn't drop, we assume one of two things. Either the machine is broken, or we press the wrong button. Either God isn't responding, or we're doing it wrong. And this model is so deeply embedded in how we think about prayer that most people don't even notice it's there. It's just assumed. It's the water we swim in. But here's the problem. The vending machine model turns dua into a transaction. And a transaction has a very specific structure. You give something, you get something. If you don't get something, the transaction failed. And when you see dua as a transaction that failed, every time, eventually you stop putting money in the machine. Because why would you? Now let me show you what dua actually is. And I'm going to use the simplest possible image to do it. Imagine a child, 4 years old, and she wants a cookie before dinner. She goes to her father and she asks. She says, "Dad, can I have a cookie?" And her father, who loves her more than she can possibly understand at 4 years old, says no. Now, from the child's perspective, there are a few ways to interpret that no. Option 1, Dad doesn't love me. Option 2, Dad didn't hear me. Option 3, Dad is mean. Option 4, Dad knows something I don't know. The child who trusts her father, who has a real relationship with him, who has experienced his love over time, that child will probably land on option 4. Even if she's frustrated, even if she cries, even if she doesn't understand, because the relationship gives the no a different meaning. Now, take that father, and imagine his wisdom multiplied by everything that has ever existed. Imagine he can see not just today, but every possible version of your future. Imagine he knows exactly what that cookie would do to you, not just tonight, but 10 years from now. Imagine his love for you is so complete, so comprehensive, so unconditional, that it cannot be reduced or diminished by anything you do or don't do. That is the God you are making dua to. And no, or not yet, or something else instead, from that God means something completely different than no from a vending machine. There's a hadith, that's a recorded saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that I want to share with you. And I want you to really sit with it. The Prophet said that when a person makes dua, one of 3 things happens. 1, Allah gives you exactly what you asked for. 2, Allah holds back what you asked for, and instead removes some harm from your life or gives you something better. 3, Allah stores your dua as a reward that waits for you on the Day of Judgment. And then the Prophet said something that stops me every time I think about it. He said that when people see those stored rewards on the Day of Judgment, the ones they didn't receive in this life, they will wish that none of their duas had ever been answered immediately. They will wish every single one had been stored. That's how valuable the stored reward is. Now think about what that means practically. It means that no dua, not one, is ever lost. Not one tear, not one whispered word at 3 a.m., not one shaking hand raised in a dark room. Every single one lands somewhere. Every single one matters. Every single one is received. The question is not whether your dua is heard. The question is which of the 3 responses you're receiving, and whether you trust the one giving the response. And this brings us to the verse from the Quran that I think about more than almost any other. It's in chapter 40, verse 60. Allah says, "And your Lord says, 'Call upon me, I will respond to you.'" Short sentence, 4 words in the original Arabic. And I want to go through each part of it slowly, because there is so much packed in here that most people read right past. Your Lord says, not just the Lord, your Lord. In Arabic, the word used here is deeply personal. It indicates an intimate, specific, ongoing relationship, not a distant ruler issuing a public announcement. A personal God speaking directly to you, the person reading this right now in your specific situation, with your specific pain, in your specific moment. This is God saying, I know who you are, I know what you're going through, and I'm speaking directly to you. Call upon me. This is a command, not a suggestion, not an invitation you can decline without consequence. Allah is telling you, call on me. And the scholars who study this say that this is an act of worship in itself. The calling, not just the getting. The act of turning to Allah, that is the answer in part, not just the means to get an answer. I will respond. Here's the part that changed everything for me. Allah did not say, call upon me and I will give you what you asked for. He said, I will respond. Response is not the same as delivery. Response means, I am here, I am present, I am listening, I am engaged with your situation, and I am acting, even when you cannot see the action. That is a promise, not a maybe, not a usually, a promise, from the creator of everything, to you. Let me tell you what was actually happening to Ibrahim during those 2 years. I want you to see it from the outside, the way you can sometimes see other people's lives more clearly than they can see their own. Month 1. Ibrahim starts applying for jobs. He begins praying with new urgency. He's learning what it means to actually need something, not just want it. For the first time in his life, he is completely dependent on something outside his own control. Month 4. He's been rejected enough times that his arrogance, which he didn't even know he had, is quietly dissolving. Not in a painful way, in the way that a tight muscle finally releases. He is becoming softer, more empathetic. He starts genuinely noticing when other people are struggling, in a way he didn't before. Month 8. He's learning patience in a cellular way, not the surface kind where you just wait. The deep kind where you learn to live with uncertainty without it destroying you. This is not a skill you can learn from a book. You can only learn it by surviving it. Month 12. He's started having real conversations with Allah in his dua. Not just requests, actual conversations. I don't understand this. I'm scared. I need you to help me see this clearly. For the first time, his prayer feels like a relationship instead of a transaction. Month 18. He's so stripped of pride, so genuinely humble, so deeply capable of real hard work, because he's been doing it with no reward for a year and a half, that he is now, quietly, exactly the person a certain type of role needs. Month 26. He gets the job. And when he gets it, and when he starts working, he realizes something that he couldn't have understood at month 1. This role required everything he'd become. The patience, the humility, the ability to sit with uncertainty, the real relationship with God that kept him sane. A version of Ibrahim that had gotten the job at month 3, even if such a thing were possible, would have been a disaster. He would have crumbled under the first real pressure. The delay wasn't punishment. The delay was preparation. Now, I want to be careful here, because I don't want to give you a fantasy. I don't want to say, just trust Allah and everything will work out exactly how you want it to, just later. That's not true. And if someone says that to you, they are not helping you. Sometimes the thing you're praying for doesn't come. Not in this life, not in the form you asked for. Sometimes the marriage doesn't happen. Sometimes the illness doesn't go away. Sometimes the person you love doesn't come back. And in those situations, it'll come eventually, just wait, is not the answer. It would be cruel to say that. So what do you do with those situations? This is where we have to go deeper than just have patience. Patience is not a feeling. Patience is a decision to trust when you don't understand, A decision to stay in the relationship with Allah even when the relationship feels one-sided. A decision to say, I don't see your wisdom here, but I believe it exists. And the reason you can make that decision is not because you're suppressing your pain. It's because the relationship itself, the one built in all those nights of dua, has given you something that circumstances cannot take away. A certainty that you are held, that you are known, that your pain is seen, that nothing about your story is accidental. That certainty doesn't make the grief go away, but it means the grief doesn't also have to come with abandonment. You can grieve and still be held. I want to talk about something that almost nobody talks about when they talk about dua, the enemy. In Islamic belief, there is a being called Shaitan, which you can think of as the devil, the one who has committed himself to pulling humanity away from God. And his goal is not actually to get you to do obviously terrible things. That's too obvious. Most people resist that. His real goal, his most effective strategy, is to get you to give up. Not to stop praying entirely, just to pray without believing, to go through the motions, to say the words and not mean them, to raise your hands out of habit and not out of hope. Because a prayer said without hope is already halfway to no prayer at all. And the specific tool he uses for this is not temptation, it's doubt. A small thought planted at exactly the right moment. What's the point? And then a slightly larger thought. This never works for me. And then larger still. Maybe Allah doesn't respond to people like me. Each thought builds on the last. Each one makes the next one easier to think. And if he can get you to that place, the place where you still pray but you don't believe it matters, he's essentially won. Because you're going through the motions of a relationship while being emotionally absent from it. And eventually, even the motions stop. This is why the Prophet, peace be upon him, told us to make dua with certainty, with yaqeen, absolute conviction, that Allah will respond. Not hope, not wish, certainty. Because certainty is the antidote to the doubt that Shaitan plants. And certainty doesn't come from feeling certain. It comes from knowing. Knowing the promise, knowing the relationship, knowing who Allah is. And the more you know him, really know him, not just facts about him, the harder the doubt is to sustain. Let me give you 3 things, practical things, not just ideas. The first thing is this. Make dua like it's real. This sounds obvious, but it isn't. Most of us, if we're honest, slip into autopilot during dua. We use the same phrases in the same order, in the same tone. And there's nothing wrong with having structure, but there's a difference between structure and being absent. When you make dua, try this. Before you say a single word, pause. Sit in the silence for 30 seconds. Remember who you are speaking to. Remember that this being made the universe from nothing, that he knows your name, that he is present with you right now in this room. Then speak, from where you actually are, not where you think you should be. If you're angry, tell him you're angry. If you're confused, tell him you're confused. If you're struggling to believe he's listening, tell him that. Ya Allah, I'm struggling to feel like you're here. Please help me feel your presence. That kind of honesty in dua is not weakness. It is, I genuinely believe, one of the most powerful forms of prayer. Because it's real, it's present. It's the actual you speaking to the actual God. The second thing is, start seeing answers in different shapes. We have trained ourselves to look for one kind of answer, the specific thing we asked for, arriving in an obvious way. But Allah's responses are woven through your life in ways that are easy to miss if you're only watching for one thing. The calm that settled over you after a moment of crisis, where did that come from? The person who appeared at exactly the right moment with exactly the right words. Was that a coincidence? The door that closed, which felt like failure, which led you to the hallway you were actually supposed to be in. Did you notice that? Start keeping track. Seriously, write it down. When something happens that feels like grace, even small grace, write it down. You will be astonished over time at what the list looks like. Because Allah's answers are not rare, they are constant. We just stop seeing them when we decide in advance that nothing is coming. The third thing is the hardest. Stay in the relationship even when it's painful. Real relationships, deep ones, survive difficulty. In fact, they're often deepened by difficulty. The friendships that have been through something real with you are different from the friendships that have only known easy times. Your relationship with Allah is no different. The nights you make dua through tears, those nights are building something. The prayers where you're honest about your doubt, those are building something. The moments where you choose to trust even though you don't understand, those are building something. They're building a version of you who is more real, more grounded, more genuinely connected to God than you were before the difficulty started. The difficulty is not an obstacle to that relationship. The difficulty is part of how it deepens. I want to come back to Ibrahim one more time. A few months after he started his new job, he was talking to a friend. The first time he'd really opened up about what those 2 years had been like. And his friend asked him, "Do you think the du'as you made during those 2 years were answered?" And Ibrahim thought about it for a long time. And then he said something that I think is one of the most honest and clear things I've ever heard someone say about du'a. He said, "Every single one. Just not always the way I was asking." He said, "When I asked for a job, sometimes what I got was a new understanding of my own pride. Sometimes what I got was a night of real closeness to Allah that I wouldn't trade for anything. Sometimes what I got was a smaller version of the thing I asked for, just a moment of peace right when I needed it. And then eventually I got the job." He said, "Looking back, I can see answers everywhere. I just couldn't see them at the time because I was only looking for one shape." Here is what I want you to walk away with today. Not a feeling, a knowing. The silence you've been experiencing, or the confusion, or the waiting, or the wondering, that is not evidence that you're unheard. It is evidence that your story is not finished yet. Every dua you have ever made is held somewhere, held in a way that is more real and more certain than anything in this world. Not lost, not ignored, not dismissed, held. And on a day that is coming, a day when all of time collapses into a single moment of truth, you will see every single one of those du'as. You will see exactly what happened as a result of each one. And in that moment, the waiting will make sense. The silence will make sense. All of it will make sense. You don't have to wait for that day to start trusting. You can start trusting now. Not because your situation is guaranteed to change in the way you want, but because the one who holds your situation is guaranteed to be exactly who he said he is. He said, "Call upon me, I will respond." He did not say maybe. He did not say if you deserve it. He did not say when you've been good enough. He said, "I will respond." That is a promise from the Lord of everything that exists, to you, specifically, personally, right now. So tonight, raise your hands, and don't beg like you're not sure he's there. Talk to him like you know he is, because he is. He always has been. He always will be. Before you leave, I want you to remember one thing. The value of your dua is not measured by how quickly you receive what you asked for. It is measured by the fact that every single word reached Allah. Every tear, every late night prayer, every moment you raised your hands despite your doubts. None of it was wasted. If this video touched your heart, share it with someone who may be struggling with their dua right now. A single reminder can become a source of hope for someone who feels lost. And if you're new here, subscribe to Islam Unveiled for more videos that uncover the beauty, wisdom, and truth of Islam through authentic Quranic and prophetic teachings. May Allah accept all of our duas, strengthen our faith during times of waiting, and grant us certainty in His promise. Jazakum Allahu khairan for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.